Namaste, Prakash here. Welcome to the next episode of Dharma Tales. Let's debate. We have been going through a lot of subplots in Mahabharata with a lot of interesting stories and seeing how it impacts the dharmic values that we have been looking at building. Today we're going to see a very intriguing story, something which really puts the listeners in some kind of a spot why this person was never given a chance really to perform. We are going to speak about one of the unknown characters of Mahabharata, or rather not so well known characters of Mahabharata, who could have been the real hero of what how Mahabharata actually took the twists and turns towards the end, specifically during the wartime. There is a character called Aravan, considered to be the son of Arjun, born to a Naga princess when Arjun was traveling somewhere. In North India, he is also known by a different name and he is called as Bharbarika, seemed to have been born to Gatotkacha, the son of Bhim. Either way, irrespective of whether we are discussing about Aravan or Bharbarika, the concept is something extremely interesting. When war is about to start, Lord Krishna wants to assess how people are actually looking at the war situation. And then he calls all the big time warriors, right up to Karna, to Arjun, and asks them how long will the war last. And based on their own calculations, everybody gives varying degrees of input. Somebody says 100 days, 200 days, 150 days. Only Arjun and Karna give an approximate estimate of closer to what Lord Krishna wanted. They said that it may take about 25 days max. Lord Krishna had planned it to have not exceeding about 18 days, according to one of the scriptures. But then this character turns up and he comes and tells Lord Krishna, can I take a guess and tell you? He says, please go ahead and tell. And then Aravan says that this war, if I am allowed to handle, will be finished in 1 minute's time. Lord Krishna is really intrigued. At the same time, he is also aware of the potential of Aravan. And then he actually asks Aravan, what do you mean? He says that long ago I had done a penance and taken certain boons from Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva gave me 3 arrows, and with this I can finish off the entire war in 1 minute flat. So actually Lord Krishna takes him out and asks him separately, what do you really mean? Can you explain? So he explains that with the first arrow I can actually mark all the people whom I want to destroy. And with the third arrow, I can mark all those who want to be safe. And then with the second arrow, which I will use, I can destroy everything who are marked with the first arrow. So Lord Krishna actually teases him and then says, you please demonstrate. So he takes him to the forest and then he says, tell me what you want to do. He says, don't use the second arrow, but show me how we'll use the first arrow. So Aravan asks him, what do you want me to do? He says, he shows a specific leaf and he says, mark all the leaves that are going to be destroyed, which look similar. And to test him, what he does is he takes one leaf which looks similar and puts it under his foot and hides it. And then Aravan leaves the first arrow out. It goes and searches and brings marks every arrow, every leaf which looks similar to what Lord Krishna wanted. And finally, it keeps coming and keeps popping at Lord Krishna's feet, because there is one leaf that he has actually hidden below his foot. Lord Krishna now understands what it means. And then with the third one, Aravan shows that it protects all the other things in the forest other than the leaf, and shows how it can be protected. Of course, he doesn't use the second arrow because he doesn't want to destroy the leaves. So now Lord Krishna understands. Lord Krishna understands and then asks him, who are you going to fight for? He says, I am going to fight with the Pandavas. But now comes a pick-one situation for Lord Krishna. Because according to the power that Aravan possesses, the moment he is known to be fighting only with the weaker section in any army. That's what he says, I'll fight with Pandavas, because to start with, Pandavas are the weakest. And then Lord Krishna then asks him, if you're going to join the Pandavas, the moment you join them, Don't you understand that you will become the strongest? And you will no more be able to fight with Pandavas. Now you have to switch sides to Kauravas because that is what your dharma is. You will only stand and fight with the weaker section. But the moment you move to the Kauravas, what is likely to happen is you will finish off majority of Pandavas and then they will become weak. And you will come to this side, then you have to destroy Kauravas. And finally, according to the prediction of Lord Krishna, if Aravan is allowed to fight, he'll be the only person left because he would have killed everybody else in the process of defending one against another, and this process will be over in no time. Lord Krishna then tells him, do you see where the whole thing is headed? You are the most capable person to have, but unfortunately, because of the dharmic standard that you have, that you cannot fight with anyone who is of a lesser power than you yourself have become your own enemy. So Aravan doesn't know what to do. He says, what do you want me to do? He says, I'll give you a very good way out of this. For any war to succeed, there is something called as a human sacrifice that we have to make. And if you agree, we'll make you the human sacrifice, because with that we have given the best of human sacrifices, because the best of the sacrifice will get the best of the results. We want to put you through the human sacrifice mode, and I wish that you come forward, because with that you would have ensured the victory of Pandavas, and you would have also ensured that the power that you have does not get used by Kauravas to destroy Pandavas. With a very heavy heart, and then Aravan, or Barbarica as you want to call, agrees to this, but in turn he asks Lord Krishna for three boons. He says that I want to see this great war, and I want to be in a position where I will be alive, or in some way I will be able to watch this war till it's over, because that's one of my wish. So it is granted, and that's what happens. Apparently, Aravan's head, when it is cut off after he is made as a human sacrifice, is kept on top of a mountain for Aravan's head to watch the entire war. And at the end of the war, apparently his soul leaves the body. The second wish that he asks for is that though my power is there, I want to fight normally in this war and participate in some way. Because after all, it is my parents, the Pandavas, who are going to fight. And if I'm not there, it is not the dharma of a Kshatriya. So Lord Krishna allows him to fight for about 8 days. On the night of the eighth day is when actually Aravan does the maximum amount of damage to Kauravas before he actually gets killed. This is the second boon that he had. And all these are paradoxes and contradictions, which is not very easy for a human mind to even conceive and accept. And the third boon, he says that according to the Kshatriya Dharma, if I die as a bachelor, my body will only be buried, and it will not be cremated with the rites that is due for a Kshatriya. I want to die as a person who is married. And how will you solve this for me? And Lord Krishna says, no, I'll find someone. He goes around and nobody is ready to marry someone who's going to be given as a human sacrifice. So what he does, according to the version of this story, is that Lord Krishna takes the avatar of a Mohini, gets married to Aravan, so that his third wish is also fulfilled. And after this, apparently, Aravan is given as the human sacrifice before the commencement of the war. And he still goes on to resurrect his body. For 8 days, he is able to stay and fight. On the night of the eighth day, when all rules are broken and the night war starts for the first time in Kurukshetra, he gets killed. And he continues to live through his head till the 18th day. These are all paradoxes and contradictions. As he said, it's not very easy for us to understand. Now, coming to the dharmic equation in this, what is the dharmic impact that you see when you have the best of the warrior in front of you? Isn't it possible in some way to find a solution through which he could have been used, so that the war could have been much more easily handled? Or he could have been used as a negotiating tool and then shown to Kauravas how he can be used to finish off Kauravas in just 1 minute. Whatever, I mean, Lord Krishna knows all the tricks, and he is aware of how to deploy those tricks as well. What stopped then Aravan from fighting? What is the dharma in this? As a king or as a person who is actually counseling Pandavas, where did Lord Krishna miss out? Did he miss out? What exactly happened? What is that we get to learn when we have people who are really strong on our side, even in our life, personal life, corporate life, or even in the life of building a nation? Why is it that sometimes we are not able to use them? Is it because of the indirect destructive power that they bring to the table? What is it that actually stops many a times from such wonderful beings even coming to the fore and actually being made full use of? Let's debate. Go to the comments box below this video. Share all your insights on what is that you pick up as the dharmic equation arising out of this story. What are the values that you see as dharma unfolding? How can we really use even in our day-to-day life? Did Aravan go wrong? Did Pandavas go wrong somewhere? Did Lord Krishna not calculate properly or finding a way to use Aravan? All these are up to us for us to discuss. Dharma Tales, let's debate. Till we meet again. Thank you, Prakash.